I was tossed into the countryside for 10 years. Just got home, and my stepsister snatched my necklace. I calmly warned her, this is from my fiancé. He's pretty crazy, so you might want to give it back. With a sneer, she replied, just some hillbilly from the sticks. Let's see how crazy he gets. The next day at school, John had her by the throat. You think you can just take anything? Seeing my stepsister's terrified face, I shrugged. Told you, he's a lunatic. I'm Jenny, once a rich family's spoiled girl. But when I was 8, my mom scratched my dad's first love in a confrontation. Afterward, she accidentally fell from the stairs, and she was gone before reaching the hospital. My dad sent me off to the countryside for 10 years. Meanwhile, he remarried, bringing his first love and her daughter into our home. Now, after all this time, I was brought back from the countryside. When I arrived, all my luggage was opened. My clothes were cut up, books torn apart, and photos shredded. The servants were cleaning up the mess. Monica, the culprit, was twirling a necklace while chewing gum on the sofa. Jenny, thinking you're back to being the real heiress. Seeing the necklace, I reached out, give it back. It was a simple necklace, a wooden bird pendant on a black cord. Monica twirled it on her finger. If it's so precious, I'm really not giving it back now. It's mine. I kindly reminded her, that's from my fiancé. I'm telling you, he's crazy. I suggest you let it go. Monica laughed like she heard a great joke, then scoffed. A fiancé from the countryside. Who? A pig farmer or gardener? Let's see his craziness. What's all the noise about? Jason's voice boomed from the stairs. Next to him, Sophia's dark eyes were locked on me. Her once pretty face had a scar that wouldn't go away, winding down her left cheek. My mom's handiwork. I always thought it a masterpiece. Jason didn't waste words on me. Just ordered me to my room like looking at me was a burden. The room was small, dim, clearly meant to be a storage room. The maids brought in my ruined luggage and a new school uniform. The next morning after breakfast, a driver took me to the new school Jason arranged. When I entered the classroom, Monica was bragging about her necklace. Seeing me, she jumped up to mock. Hey everyone, this is my so-called sister. Her crazy mom slashed my mom's face. Crazy breeds crazier, right? Before finishing, a voice interrupted. Who are you insulting? An icy, angry warning. The room fell silent. Monica turned tense. A boy looked down at her, eyes sharp, aura chilling. Scared. She couldn't grasp why she triggered John, or why he even showed up. Though privileged, no one in school mingled with John's crowd. I asked, who are you insulting? John's voice was low, dangerous. Sorry. Terrified, Monica bowed to apologize. The necklace slipped out, the wooden bird vivid. John saw red, grabbed Monica by the neck, slamming her on the desk. Why is this with you? His eyes met mine, red with fury. I offered a wry smile. She stole it. John turned to Monica, squeezing tighter. Think you can touch this? In that moment, I saw pure despair in Monica's eyes. I liked it. When she looked confusedly at me, I mouthed, told you, he's crazy. Then I gave her a wicked, satisfied grin. Monica couldn't think how I knew John, or why he was my fiancé. She could barely breathe, eyes watering, face flushed from lack of air. No one dared to intervene. John, she's had enough. I touched John's arm, speaking softly. Really, she deserves it. John smirked, grip not relenting. I sighed. She should suffer more, not escape so easily. Softly, I continued, John, it's been a while. Wouldn't you like to chat with me? John finally eased his grip, mood calming. He yanked the necklace off Monica's neck, moving closer. Sorry, I lost my temper. John gently put the necklace back on me, his head resting on my neck. Jenny, I've missed you. You're finally back. Yeah, I'm back. Class is starting soon. Be good, go to class. We'll see each other after school. Okay. I patted John's back softly. Glancing at Monica struggling for breath, I raised a brow at her. After John's outburst, no one dared mess with me all day. Monica hated me more but avoided provoking me. After school, she hid at home alone. Had enough. I chuckled as John kept staring. He laid his cheek in my palm, shaking his head. Can't get enough. I met John back in the countryside. He was too wild. Got sent there by his family to work on a farm. The bird on the necklace, he carved himself. Before leaving, he pressured my family to take me back. I refused. John was my secret weapon. I couldn't reveal it too soon, or how would I have fun dealing with them? What are you thinking about? Noticing my distraction, John squeezed my hand, annoyed. Just wondering when you'll drive me home, I teased, eyeing his luxury car. Just wanted more time with you. Let's go. John dropped me at home, only to be met with a flying glass. Who does she think she is? A little tramp, acting so smug. What's John after? Is he under a spell? Sophia raged, slandering me between curses. I glanced up at John's increasingly dark eyes and gave a tiny smile. Oh, So you all care about me that much. John smiled mischievously and led me through the door. I looked at Sophia and Monica, who were frozen in shock, and at the pieces of broken china on the floor. I lowered my eyes to hide my excitement. The show was finally starting. John naturally pulled me to sit on the couch, then glanced at Sophia. What? Do I need your permission to help someone now? Sophia swallowed her fear and anger, forcing a smile. John, what brings you here? John raised an eyebrow, not caring a bit. Oh, nothing much. Just came to help Jenny feel better. Sophia and Monica froze, their fake smiles vanishing instantly. John looked at me and then turned his gaze to Sophia. You just yelled at Jenny, right? Why don't you apologize to her? He said it so casually, so authoritatively. I suppressed my smile, keeping my usual gentle and soft demeanor. What did you say? Sophia seemed incredulous. My mom should apologize to her. Monica peeked out from behind Sophia, filled with anger. Her confidence vanished the moment she saw John. It's all right, Mrs. Sophia. You don't have to come over. I'll come to you instead. I spoke at the right moment, offering a warm, harmless smile. As I walked up to Sophia, I saw the hatred and venom in her eyes. It felt so satisfying, but it wasn't enough. Sophia stood there for a long time before finally lowering her head under John's increasingly cold stare. Jenny, Auntie didn't mean it that way. We're family. Don't take it to heart. I gently held her hand and smiled. Thank you, Auntie. Then I stared at her intently, my smile growing deeper. With increasing resentment in Sophia's eyes, I silently mouthed, your scar looks great. This was Sophia's taboo, her Achilles heel. Once, her beauty was her pride, but now it was a thorn in her heart. Sophia lost control in an instant, pinning me to the ground and slapping me across the face. John immediately stood up. The moment before he arrived, I pressed my cheek into the broken china on the floor. Blood quickly oozed from my jaw. The angle and force were just right. It looked serious, but the cut was shallow and not really painful. Seeing the blood on my face, John grabbed Sophia right up. Are you guys trying to die? Monica turned pale and pleaded. John glared. Get out. Jason showed up quickly, seeing Sophia and Monica pinned by security, along with a knife tossed at their feet. He didn't dare make a sound. John attentively watched the doctor treat my wound, ignoring Jason completely. John, what's this about? You have 3 choices. John interrupted coldly, not hiding his grudge. Each of you could cut your face once. In one sentence, all 3 turned pale. Your family's business is finished. Jason's face fell further, casting a resentful look at Sophia and Monica. Send this crazy woman to a mental hospital. John stared at Jason with a half smile, an aura straight from hell. John, you see, you have 3 seconds to decide. I'll choose the third one. I think such a mental state really needs treatment, Jason said with a flash of ruthlessness in his eyes. Seeing Monica and Sophia's disbelief, I raised my eyebrows smugly. Did you ever think that one day you'd be on the receiving end, when you teamed up to send my mom to a mental hospital back then? First step, success. As Sophia was taken away, John had already been urged several times by the old man to return. Monica clung to Sophia, refusing to let go, using all her strength to push away the doctors. She cried, begging Jason, Dad, Mom isn't insane. I beg you, don't send her there. She caused such a commotion that Jason pulled her away, slapped her, and said, get back to your room. Watching this scene, my gaze went dark. How much did this resemble the time when I was 7? Sophia and Jason conspired to send my mom to a mental hospital because of the shares she held. Back then, I held onto my mom, pushing away those doctors with all my might, crying and begging Jason. And all I got was a slap from him. It's really karma, isn't it? I thought with a smirk. As Sophia passed by, she whispered, Jenny, you don't think you've won, do you? Her chilling voice seemed to come straight out of hell. I shed my gentle facade, revealing my original sinister smile. How would that be possible? This is just the beginning, and something so minor. It won't satisfy me. My mom was locked in a mental hospital for a year when I was 8. Once she was released, having agreed to leave without a cent to her name, she came to pick me up. But Sophia showed up with Monica, flaunting herself in front of my mom. Monica looked at me and said, your mom's a big lunatic, and you're a little lunatic. No wonder Dad wants you, not me. I rushed at her, and we got into a fight. Sophia slapped me across the face. Overwhelmed, my mom picked up scissors from the table and slashed Sophia's face before falling down the stairs during the struggle. After that, I never had a mom again. I was sent to the countryside, forgotten by all, except for some old lady paid to watch over me. Sophia gave her money to make sure she treated me harshly, but the old lady couldn't do it entirely. Instead, she used the money for my schooling and advised me to live a good life. Before she passed, she made me promise not to dwell on the past, to live a good life. But I didn't agree to that. I need to settle these debts with them one by one. These grudges, they'll repay them bit by bit. When I sent the maids into Monica's room, she was still crying. Seeing them tossing her belongings outside piece by piece, she yelled, eyes red, "What are you doing? Are you tired of this job?" I strolled leisurely into the room. They do it because they want to keep working here. Jenny, don't push it. This is my room. Monica glared at me, wanting nothing more than to pierce me with her eyes. It soon won't be, I said casually, picking up a photo from the desk. In it, Monica was arm in arm with Jason and Sophia, all smiles and blissful. Then I let it slip, the photo landing with a crash as the frame shattered. Jenny, Monica screamed in rage, rushing at me. I pinned her against the wall. It's only fair that you experience what you put me through. So what right do you have to be upset? Monica was gasping for air as I squeezed her throat, struggling to pry my hands off. That photo you tore apart, it was the only picture of me and my mom together. I tightened my grip, my voice cold. Monica's face turned red fast, her strength fading. A few seconds later, I let her go, watching her fall to the ground, panting. Burn all of these photos. I looked down at Monica, but my words were meant for the maid behind me. The maids nodded and continued with their work, heads down. You're just relying on John. Don't get too cocky. Monica's voice was a bit hoarse as she looked at me, defiant. If I'm using John's influence, why shouldn't I be cocky? I smirked a bit mischievously, just like a small-time schemer. Monica laughed too, a shadow in her eyes. You're just pretending to like him, using him, right? You left that necklace in the suitcase on purpose, so I'd see it and think it was precious to you. The scar on your face, was that part of your act too? John likes you a lot, but if he finds out you're using him, what's gonna happen to you? I casually sat on the sofa. Then go tell him. Monica was stunned by my attitude. What's the deal with you and John? I looked at her, amused. John, he's just the best piece on my chessboard right now. I was 16 back then, my 8th year in the countryside. That's when John showed up. I'd heard his name a lot before, back home. I knew his family was something big. So, I started getting close to him. He was punished by his grandpa, and sent here to do farm work, and learn some humility. His parents wouldn't dare argue with the old man. John was wild and arrogant, always in a bad mood with everyone, but I didn't care. I did whatever I could to please him. If he didn't want to do farm work, I'd do it for him. When he wanted to rest, I'd let him use my lap as a pillow and shielded him from the sun. In winter, when he got a fever and craved fish soup, I'd go to the river and catch some for him, taking care of him tirelessly. I could feel John's attitude toward me change. I was happy, because I knew he'd be an ally when I returned home. But I also knew this wasn't enough. I was still figuring out my next move when something unexpected happened. A power struggle erupted within John's family, and his uncle hired someone to kill John's parents for the inheritance. They targeted John too. That night, the bodyguards protecting John turned traitor. I took John up the mountain, telling him to hide and call for help when he could. I ran off to divert them. Because of this, John's view of me changed completely. When he was rescued and found me on the mountain, he hugged me so tight, I could barely breathe. I heard him say, Jenny, I don't have my mom and dad anymore. Suddenly, I felt this pang of sympathy for him. Later, he wanted me to go home with him, but I refused. Partly because the timing wasn't right. Also, my grandma wasn't doing well. I took the chance to have John send me good teachers to keep up with my studies, and have him send doctors to check on my grandma. John agreed to all my requests without hesitation. In the end, when he left, he put that necklace around my neck. Jenny, I carved this myself. My parents taught me how, and they met because of carving. I wanted you to meet them someday, but now that's not possible. Consider this their gift to you. At that moment, I couldn't meet John's shining eyes. He had no idea everything was part of my plan. Even saving him was because I knew the mountain so well. I knew I wouldn't get caught. All those calculated sacrifices earned me John's genuine affection. He became my best weapon. I snapped out of my thoughts and refocused on Monica's face. Instead of worrying about me and John, maybe you should worry about yourself. What do you mean? Monica looked at me warily. I leaned back on the sofa, speaking slowly. You know why Jason suddenly brought me back, right? Monica's face dropped a bit. She knew, and she was thrilled about it at first. The night I came back, I overheard her and her mom talking. They brought me back because Sophia and Jason wanted me engaged to Jack from X Group, a man in his 40s. A secret engagement, then a marriage when I came of age, for a good business deal. What are you getting at? Monica was even more uneasy. I rested my arm on the sofa. Are you really clueless, or just pretending? I was supposed to be the one your mom and Jason picked for Jack, but now, Jason doesn't dare offend John or Jack. Who do you think they'll choose instead? My words were light, but they hit Monica like a ton of bricks. So heavy she was speechless. No, no way. Dad loves me the most. I'm his daughter, Monica mumbled, searching desperately for hope. I sneered. Aren't I his daughter too? The glimmer of hope in Monica's eyes shattered with my words, but she still struggled. No way. I'm not like you. Your mom's a nutcase. My mom was Dad's first love. She only ended up in the asylum because of you and John. Dad will definitely get her out soon. He loves Mom and me the most. Watching her ramble on, I stood and patted her shoulder. Good luck with that. When people are desperate, they often deceive themselves. My mom, Sophia, Monica, they all held out hope for that man. But I learned early on, he was the root of all this mess. His day of reckoning was coming soon. After Sophia left, Jason barely showed up. Monica was living in the junk room, where I stayed when I first returned. Every day after school, John dragged me to study more. But I didn't mind. I needed to learn as much as I could. Someday I'd take over the company my mom started. Life just drifted on, quietly. When I got home after studying with John, just as I was about to enter my room, Monica rushed over and knelt in front of me. Her cheeks were swollen. She'd been hit pretty hard. Jenny, I was wrong before. Please, help me. I don't want to marry Jack. Monica looked at me, her tears falling like rain. I glanced down at her but didn't say anything. She didn't care. She clutched my pant leg tightly. Dad took me to have dinner with Jack. They started talking about an engagement, and I freaked out. Dad pulled my hair and hit me. Monica's pupils were dilated with fear, haunted by the memory. Jenny, please help me. I was wrong before. I'll even kowtow to you. I watched her bow her head, hitting the floor with a dull thud. I suddenly remembered the day I came back home. I heard her laughing when Sophia talked about my engagement to Jack. It's funny how you don't feel the pain until the stick hits you. Leaning against the door, I spoke calmly. Why should I help you? Monica froze and slowly looked up, her head still on the floor. You're the first person to ask your enemy for help. Then, I pushed the door open, ready to go into my room. Just as I was closing it, Monica rushed forward. John's in danger. I relaxed and let her into the room. Talk. She swallowed hard. Promise me you'll help me first. I barely hesitated. Fine. Relief washed over Monica's face, like she had bet it all and won. After dinner, I saw John's driver in the parking garage. He got into the back of a car. It couldn't be for anything good, right? She looked at me nervously after she finished talking. Got it. Go back to your room and lock the door. I glanced at Monica, effectively dismissing her. Not daring to stay, she quickly stood up and went back to her room, locking the door. I called John, and he soon picked up. Miss me, Jenny? Monica said she saw your driver get into the back of a car today. I cut to the chase, concerned about me. John sounded easygoing compared to my stern tone. Yeah, I'm worried. I didn't sugarcoat it. I was really anxious, and I didn't quite know why. I just didn't want him to be in any danger. There was a moment of silence before John spoke. It's fine. I know who he went to see. My cousin. Your uncle's son. I stopped mid-sentence. John's uncle had orchestrated the tragedy with his parents years ago. Yeah, my uncle's kid. He's always been well-mannered and kind-hearted. That's why, even after his dad got caught, my grandpa let him stay around occasionally. John spoke nonchalantly. How dangerous? I asked the one thing on my mind. Not at all, he replied casually. My grandpa's always had someone watching him. The kid just doesn't know it. He thinks pretending to be harmless would fool everyone, as if anyone raised in our world would be naive. I was about to say something when John interrupted. Unless I choose to be fooled, of course. Why? The words slipped out before I could stop them, and I regretted it instantly. John pondered. Maybe love really does blind people. I froze for a moment, surprised by his response. Just as I was about to reply, he chuckled softly. Get some sleep. If you're worried about me, just spend more time with me tomorrow. As the screen dimmed, I could hear my heartbeat loud and clear. The next day was Saturday. Jason sipped his milk, looking at Monica unhappily. You're going to apologize to Jack. Monica glanced at me nervously. I wiped my mouth and said slowly, she's not seeing Jack again. Stop whatever you're planning. Jason set his glass down, staring at me. What did you say? I met his gaze. You have a problem with that. Jason was filled with anger and disdain. I leaned back in my chair, smirking. I've always wondered if you've ever achieved anything on your own in your life. Jenny, Jason snapped, his voice rising. Monica dropped her chopsticks, too scared to breathe. Are you trying to get back at me? Jason glared at me. I laughed. Oh please, we're just getting started. The company's your mom's creation, and you're not going to touch it. So are you coming after me? What's next? Gonna kill me? His last words were practically a shout. My smile faded as I stared at him quietly. You actually considered it, huh? Do you think if you had blood on your hands, you'd get away with it? Jason laughed arrogantly. I looked down, smiling faintly, then glanced back at him with an unreadable expression. How do you know I wouldn't get away with it? The atmosphere grew colder, as a gust of fall wind blew through the room, as if it came from below the ground. I got up nonchalantly. I'm done eating. Monica, just do what you need to do today. Ignore him. With that, I walked out of the house. If you had blood on your hands, you think you'd get away with it? Jason's words echoed in my mind, and I shook my head dismissively. The hand that moves the chess pieces doesn't get stained with blood. A real idiot, he is. When I met Sophia at the mental hospital, she was still clean and well-dressed, but her eyes were full of hatred as they fixed on me. Long time no see. I smiled broadly. Jenny, don't get too cocky. Jason will definitely get me out. Sophia still looked hopeful. I nodded in agreement. You're his first love and the woman he loves the most. Monica said that too, just before she got slapped with reality. What did you do to Monica? Sophia's expression changed at the mention of her daughter's name. I sat across from her, separated by bars. It's not what I did. It's what your beloved Jason did, trying to set her up with Jack. Sophia knew Jack was trouble. After all, she had arranged him for me. Her face turned pale instantly. Impossible. Jason loves Monica. I pulled out my phone and showed her a picture of Monica after she'd been beaten. Sure, loves her so much. Sophia stared at the photo, pupils shrinking. How did it come to this? Jason would never do this to Monica. Did you hit her? I rolled my eyes, unable to hold back. I'm seriously starting to wonder if you're actually insane. I pulled a small stack of photos out of my bag and handed them to her. Take a good look at your supposed precious daughter. The photos were of Jason and a young guy. Look closely, and you'd see some resemblance between them. Just a heads up, I said. This guy is only a year younger than Monica. They've been at the same school, and his class is right below Monica's. Sophia's hands trembled more as she looked at the photos. I chimed in at the right moment. Is this his son? Sophia suddenly looked like she aged 10 years. I nodded. His mom passed away during childbirth. She and Jason were classmates. Want to see what she looked like? I handed her a photo of the woman, seeing fear in Sophia's eyes. As expected, when Sophia saw it, her eyes turned red, and she crumpled the corner of the photo with her grip. The woman's face was eerily similar to hers. No, it was she who looked just like the woman. Tell me, who was the first love, and who was just a stand-in? I offered a slight smile, taking in Sophia's broken state. Jason met her when they were young, but they split up. He married my mom for the money. After the wedding, he couldn't let go of his first love and found her replacement, you. Then he reconnected with his first love while you were pregnant and had a kid with her. Sadly, she passed away. For the sake of his son's future, he started plotting everything. First, he used you to get my mom's shares, then had you manage the company. Next, once Monica grew up, he'd get rid of you, marry off Monica for resources, and ultimately have his son inherit the company. I casually laid out the whole story for her. I'd kept eyes on Jason and found quite the piece of news. I played a recording on my phone. A slightly drunk Jason was speaking. I've taken good care of my son, sent him to the best schools, gave him the best of everything. Don't worry, everything of mine can only be his in the future. Sophia was committed to a mental institution today. Initially, I thought we'd wait a few more years before putting her there, but John changed the timeline. It's okay, though. The company's pretty stable now, and she's served her purpose. I was planning to get Jenny married off first, but things changed when she got involved with John. So Monica will get engaged first. Once the deal with Jack is settled, our son won't have anything to worry about. Was about to get her back with me, you know. I couldn't stand looking at Sophia, the stand-in, every day. That was from the recorder I put in Jason's study. I planned to track his moves, but that turned out to be a bonus discovery. Sophia's expression grew vacant as she listened. Tears streamed down her face without warning. After being dazed for a bit, she started to laugh. Softly at first, then louder, as if trying to laugh away the hurt. The vicious scar on her cheek seemed to split open again, as if about to bleed. Jenny, you won, you won. Are you happy, smug even? Sophia was laughing and crying, on the brink of madness. Why would I be happy? Jason and his son should be the ones overjoyed. I leaned back in my chair, speaking with a light tone. Sophia suddenly went silent. No more crying or laughing, just stared at the table, muttering something. I smirked, got up, and walked away. Checkmate. John's car was parked outside. As soon as I got in, he leaned on my shoulder. Why were you there so long? You talk more to her than to me. I'm starving. I ruffled John's soft hair. Sorry, lost track of time. Let's eat. What do you want? John pouted. I want your cooking. All right, whatever you say. I chuckled, feeling unusually relaxed. Back at John's private villa, he shadowed me like a watchful security camera. I stopped whisking the eggs. How about you go watch some TV? Nope. Play a game? Nope. Then? Nope. I'm staying right here. I sighed, returning to whisking eggs, trying to ignore his presence. Anyone would think I was feeding a big puppy, eyes full of anticipation, waiting for food. What did Sophia do when you told her everything? John asked, breaking the silence when I ignored him. Cried, laughed. I replied while pouring oil into the pan, recalling Sophia's last look. My expression darkened. Should I make a call to get her released? John's gaze was glued to my every move. Don't. Let's not interfere. Sophia will get out on her own. I poured the egg mixture in, shaking my head. Are you sure? John smiled, raising an eyebrow. I raised mine, too. Yep. Jason will find a way to get her out. Monica's off the table with Jack, meaning the company needs a new plan. He can't do it alone, so he'll turn to Sophia. My voice was steady as I flipped the spatula. Did you plan this when you agreed to save Monica? John's expression was a bit odd, his puppy dog eyes fixed on me. I chuckled. Had it in mind, yeah, but also because she said you were in danger. Both reasons. John still wasn't thrilled, silently watching me. How about I make you dessert too? I winked at him. Strawberry flavor. John immediately responded. I grinned as my eyes softened. A small challenge. He was quite easy to please sometimes. Heading back home from John's place, evening had set in. Monica didn't come home to stay that night after the morning's heated argument. As soon as I walked through the door, there was a young guy on the couch. I recognized him at once. The guy from the photo. My dad's illegitimate son. What are you staring at? He sat with his leg crossed over another, giving me a cocky look. I couldn't hold back my laughter. I suggest you mind your tone, or I'll have someone yank all your teeth out, one by one. The smile dropped as I fixed him with a serious stare. The guy shrank back, his bravado disappearing like a deflated rooster. Retracting my gaze, I coolly declared, what a loser. This situation isn't as intense as Monica's. As I walked upstairs, I ran into Auntie who just finished tidying up and asked her, what's going on? She leaned in and whispered, someone's here to ask for money, and apparently a lot. It really pissed off Mr. Jason. Jason definitely wouldn't shortchange anyone. Yet here someone is, asking for money, and quite a bit of it. Probably lost it all gambling, huh? So young and already on the wrong path. That's also an insult to yourself, Auntie gently reminded me. It's alright. I was never much of a good person anyway, I replied with a laugh and walked into the room. After this commotion, Jason will probably bring Sophia back home even sooner. Is this a lifesaver, or a death knell for him this time? I'm honestly quite eager to see. On the day Jason discreetly brought Sophia home, I was out having dinner with John. So, what's up with your cousin? I stared at the pile of food in my bowl, not knowing where to start. Meanwhile, John was adding more to it, saying he bribed the driver to tamper with the car, got caught halfway through. The driver named them all. Now they're both at the station. Unable to hold back, I finally stopped John from piling more food. If my bowl could talk, it would ask you to give it a break. Completely unfazed, John went on and added the last piece of meat anyway. Sophia's back. What do you think she'll do? I swallowed a piece. It's their grudge to settle, not ours. True, it's not really any of our business, John quickly agreed. I nodded and continued eating. After dinner and some window shopping, John and I leisurely headed home. The moment we walked in, there was a strong smell of blood. Monica was slumped outside the study on the first floor, looking scared out of her wits. Auntie and the other maids were nowhere to be seen. John and I exchanged glances, and headed toward the half-open study door. Almost instantly, John covered my eyes. I calmly pulled his hand down. It's okay. Jason was tied to a chair, his face covered in wounds. Blood dripped from between his legs. He had a rag stuffed in his mouth, but was still conscious. Sophia stood before him, clutching a knife, murmuring something to herself while laughing, a chilling sight. It felt like this wasn't a study, but a hellish pit. As Sophia continued, she suddenly turned her head and looked at me. John abruptly tensed, stepping in front of me. Sophia tilted her head, staring at me for a while, then suddenly shouted in panic, "Anne, what are you doing here? Are you here to take my life?" Anne was my mother's name. I gave her a slow smile, the kind my mom used to have. Sophia grew even more terrified, waving the knife, yelling, "Stay away. You deserve it." Then she yanked Jason's hair. "Anne, it's him who's ruined you, and me too." With that, she slashed his face again. "Mom, please, don't do this, don't do this." Monica finally came to her senses, staggered forward to hold Sophia's legs, and cried. My gaze shifted from Sophia's face to Monica's. Sophia suddenly lunged, clinging to Monica's face while glaring at me. "Anne, if you're here to take my life, spare my daughter." Then she took the knife and slashed across her own face. "Here's my life for yours. Spare my daughter. Spare my daughter." Sophia's pupils grew vacant, muttering the same phrase over and over. All the while, I kept that smile, my gaze unfocused. I felt detached, like I was both here and elsewhere. I saw my mom crying. I saw Grandma crying too. I tried to walk towards them, but as I took a step, someone grabbed me. I turned around. It was John, smiling, calling out, "Jenny, Jenny." In an instant, reality and fantasy blurred together. John's anxious voice mixed with sirens ringing in my ears. I looked down and noticed my grip had drawn blood from his arm. "Sorry." I released my hand, but John held on. "Don't scare me like that again, Jenny. I'd lose my mind," John said seriously, looking pale as a sheet. I forced a smile. "Got it." The cops burst in. My vision blurred as if everything had reached its final act. I spent a couple of weeks in the hospital, finished cooperating with the investigation. Sophia was institutionalized again. Jason remained in the hospital, reduced to a shell of himself, on the brink of madness. Monica was taken in by her grandparents. Jason and Sophia picked on my mom for having no family backing. They forgot, though, that she had a daughter who loved her very much. Soaked in sunlight, I stretched and heard my bones crackle. "No more lazing around," I complained as John walked into the room. "I want to be discharged." "Here, have an apple." "I want to be discharged." "Want a peach?" "Sure." I clammed up, rolling over and ignoring John. John sat down opposite me, holding a peeled apple. "Do you know that when you fainted, I had already planned a place for my suicide?" Lunatic. I didn't like when he talked about himself like that, so I muttered, "If you know I'm crazy, don't scare me like that again." John offered a small piece of apple to my mouth. I chewed on it. "I'll stay here at the most for 3 more days, to let you fully relax." John's eyes softened, cheerfully handing me another piece. "Okay." Seeing John like that made my heart ache. John looked up at me. I hesitated, then said earnestly, "If you ever find yourself in danger, I'll risk my life to save you." John slammed the small knife onto the table. "Let them try. I'll take them out first." I let out a long sigh and then continued seriously, "John, do you know I've been using you?" John didn't seem to care as he munched on an apple. "I know. I've always known." I was ready for him to be angry, resentful, or accusative, but I couldn't understand why he was so nonchalant. "John, I'm using you," I repeated, hoping he wouldn't bottle up his feelings. "Yep, Jenny, I like you." John slightly lowered his head, making eye contact. I choked on my words, my ears blushing, unsure how to respond. "I'm happy for you to use me. If there could be some genuine feelings mixed into that, it would be even better." John grinned mischievously. My face began to flush too. I turned to look out the window. The sun warmed my face, feeling comforting and beautiful. Genuine feelings, probably some are there already. Maybe more as time goes on. John's epilogue. My name's John. Lately, the thing I'm most proud of is that Jenny's health checkup came back all good. And she's even put on a little weight. When I first met her, I just knew she was gonna be trouble for me. No way around it. It's a skill I picked up from my dad, spotting people like that. Watching her chat away happily with me gave me the creeps. So, I put on a cold face and ignored her, hoping she'd get scared off. But guess what? This girl not only stuck around, but also helped me with farm work. She even shielded me from the sun, while I slept and went fishing for me in the dead of winter. I found her interesting, and when she smiled at me, instead of creeped out, I thought she looked pretty good. I thought, maybe getting tricked by her wouldn't be the worst. Heck, maybe I could introduce her to my folks when she goes back home. But then, everything fell apart so fast. Family drama hit, and overnight, I lost my parents. Didn't even get to say goodbye. The bodyguards were bribed too. Jenny saved me, took me up the mountain to hide while she distracted the guards. I was moved, but I also wondered if she thought I was dumb. As she led me up the mountain, I realized just how well she knew this place. She was definitely trying to trick me, but when I brought people to search for her, we found her looking ragged, yet her eyes were so bright it shook me to my core. In that moment, I felt a deep sadness. I hugged her and for the first time admitted to someone that my parents were gone. She patted my back and said, "Don't be scared, I'll be with you." Right then, I knew she truly saved my life. So, I decided, why not let her trick me for real this time? Turns out, she was tricking me quite a bit. Enough for my dad to take notice. He urgently called me in. First thing, he banged the table. "You fool. Can't you see she doesn't like you? She's just using you." I couldn't keep still. "How do you know she doesn't like me? Why does she use just me, and not anyone else?" The old man was furious. Even his mustache was twitching. "You've got bad luck. It's only because I happened to set you in the same village where she was staying." I clapped my hands. Exactly. That's fate. That's what we call destiny. Love's got its way, and it won't let lovers be apart. I'm done talking to you. I need to go pick Jenny up for dinner. A teacup flew my way. "You brat." I got up, heading to the door, smiling mysteriously. "Why are you calling your own grandson names? Rascal. Good for nothing." Even at his age, he's still pretty fit, ready to charge at me with a ruler. I quickly closed the door and called Uncle for backup. I know better than anyone that Jenny's been using me, but I don't care. I'm happy about it. If she's the executioner to my slow demise, I'm the willing accomplice handing over the knife. I'm stuck in the walls she's built around me, but the thing is, she's stuck in the golden cage I've built for her too. If one day she wants out, then I'll open the door and walk with her down whatever path she chooses. I can't help it. I love her.